Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Here, allergy-fied, but alive. I made it. We were opening the pool, and my husband needed a little help with the pool cover, and I helped him fold it up, and I got into like a serious allergy attack. So, you guys get me bags and all. I'll be right back with Sean. I'm really just I feel like we've been screaming, telling people, why would you give up your DNA? What else are we giving up? That's our IP, our name, image, and likeness. I think that's going to become really, really apparent to us really, really soon. So we'll talk about that and lots more right after this. How are you doing, Sean? I started the wrong intro, but I fixed it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Things are all right.
Are you having big I'm miserable. I'm like, my eyes are watery and my allergies are going crazy, but I'm here.
My back just hurts a bit. That's all. My sciatica
We're like old people talking about our health. My sciatica, my allergies.
I didn't think about it, but we're being watched, and
Always.
I started, like I'm on YouTube all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and this thing popped up. It's like, if you're having sciatic pain, you're just having a vitamin deficiency of these vitamins. And I was like, oh, great, and I click on it, and it's like 5 minutes of like the guy talking these simple ingredients. You drink it and blah blah blah. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. And then it's like he never says it. Right before he's like, all you need to do is add these three ingredients, and then it starts over again about how it fixes it. So
because they want you to buy the product.
Well, yeah, and then you got to go listen to a dude. This doctor came up with it, and you click on it, and I watched like for 5 minutes of the doctor talking about it.
Stop.
It's simple. And I think it's potassium because I'm sure I was low on that. So I just took like handfuls of potassium and my usual stuff, and I did sit-ups like, all the time, and
And
now
that
it's
helped you.
better. But now the
That's
left
good.
side, then the left side hurt, but it's my back on the left
Mm-hmm.
side. So
Oh no.
the muscle relaxers work on that.
Well, take a pill one way or the other. They're having us all take a pill.
But I don't have allergies. Never had allergies. That would suck.
Really? Never?
No, never.
Oh my God.
I've never had a hangover. I've never had allergies. But I did have an allergy. And it took so long to figure out what it was.
Oh no.
I was just hanging out. Uh, with my wife and kids, and was like watching something, and I started to break out with this hives all over me, and then my ears itched, and then it was really really bad. So I went to the emergency room, and uh, I got the rat. Went to my scrotum, but I forgot that word. So I was like, "There's no scientific word for balls." But I went and I literally said, my balls. And they just gave me a shot of the, stuff of my butt. And it's a really embarrassing thing. So
All your body parts.
the doctor comes in, and he had this last name of this girl, sweet girl, like super innocent girl. Uh, I was friends with her. She was a freshman when I was a senior. My girlfriend hated her so much. But anyway, um, he had the same last name. I was like, oh, I know a girl. And he's like, oh, was it her? And I said, yeah. And then he went, I said, how's she doing, man? I haven't talked to her in so long. She goes, oh, she just had a baby girl, blah, blah. And I actually said to him, I meant to say, like, come out or say, wow, she had a kid. And that came out, she had sex.
Oh God.
Because that was what was the most shocking to me. Because, she was this, like, sweet, innocent kid,
Mhm.
And then he looked at me like,
People grow up and their things change. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's how it works,
Mhm.
sir. I was like,
Wow.
I'm
They're like,
sorry.
he's cut off. No more pain pills for him.
I'm sorry. She was just such a sweet innocent girl. It
No
shocked me that she would have
more
a kid.
pain pills for him.
It's pretty funny. And then of
Um,
course she told him, so I called her, and she was like, "Oh my god!" My whole family was laughing because my brother came over, and told us about you were telling everyone about your balls. I was like, I forgot the word scrotum and testicles.
interesting.
Uh,
You were very distracted.
oh,
Um,
the whole thing was
where's
happened
my?
again and again, and
Okay.
then finally the
Let's
last time
share a screen.
my ex opened up a wine cooler, and I said, "Hey, let me take a drink, try that." And it was like some new one we didn't have before. And I took a sip, and I was like, "Oh, it's pretty good."
So
And
maybe you were allergic to like one of the fruit
the
flavors in it or something.
wine cooler, and then
Yeah.
I got hives around my mouth because all I took was a sip, and I was like, "It's just around my mouth and my ears." Because all I took was a little sip. I was like, "I'm allergic to cheap wine coolers. That's ridiculous." So, because it was made with, I guess, it wasn't wine. They're made with malt liquor and like cheap whatever. So there were some chemicals in there. Arnold and James and some other one that just I'm allergic to them.
You're allergic to them.
Yeah.
Oh, is it not letting me? Um, there are some bad news for the jabbed. Some of the people that were vaccinated are now testing positive for HIV. Some studies warn. Um, that's concerning. But, the same people that created HIV allegedly were in charge of this whole great infection thing. So that's really
It is
not that
weird.
surprising.
It is weird. And I mean, it's okay. So it's not like the sex HIV, but it is similar because
It's
it's a
but your immune system.
immune deficiency or immune deficiency or virus. So it's similar, but yeah.
HIV, human immunodeficiency viruses.
Did you see what's his name? The meathead guy from CNN got fired.
No, I
Uh,
won't watch any of that.
brother was the mayor of or the governor of New York.
Oh, Cuomo boys.
Cuomo now says that he got what I got from the vaccine.
Are you talking about your scrotum again? Or are you talking about what kind of jab?
The heart thing.
Oh, the heart thing.
Yeah, he said that he has it now, and that it was because of that. His doctor said. So
Ah,
I don't know, but that's all. It's all. That's why I said you just want to wait a year, man.
yep, I
A year.
remember.
It's going to take a year,
I
and
remember.
we'll find out. And I hope I don't have those gross clots.
Those gross what?
Clots, the long clots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I think you would know by now. And I had heard that a lot of people that your natural immune system, like if you only got one, or none of this is medical advice. We're just talking about rumors and crazy talk. But that your own body could fight it off if you lived like so ever long after you got one, then you're probably in the clear, is what I had heard. But I don't know.
well, I did the Johnson when it was just a regular, vaccine. Me and the boys did. So it's just a regular vaccine, but I mean, it was weird to have doctors and nurses tell me, yeah, it's probably because of the vaccination.
Wow. When you were in the hospital for your heart stuff.
Yeah, the cardiologist, nurses, like, yeah, we're
They
seeing
know. They knew.
a big uptick in this, big rise.
Okay, so that's kind of like my thought of today's discussion is how much of this is our responsibility. Like I hate the victim mentality thing. But I was screaming when people were doing the 23andMe, because they want to find out that they were related to some somebody that was more important than themselves, I guess. They don't value themselves. Um, so where do you think all of that information goes? And then was watching earlier today, it's from 3 months ago when the actual hearing was, but Lindsey Graham was just ripping Zuckerberg apart. And he's like, so how is it that you got 10 million people, or maybe it's more than that, I can't remember, it was a huge number of people, to agree to give you all of their private information just so that they could see what their friend from high school had for dinner that night. And he's like, well, that's not our only model, whatever. But so these platforms or businesses, like, I know they probably have it in the fine print, the detail where you do sign over your rights to your IP, your name, image, and likeness, to apparently you sign over, your DNA assets, because 23andMe now owns them if you were dumb enough to swab your mouth and send it into them. And, how do you make, they gamified people selling their own identity, and then they're capitalizing on that. And, you're not getting any of that $10 billion that 23andMe is getting if you
Yeah, see,
submitted your
that's the thing.
DNA.
Dude, I think it would be different if, because you're paying them. You're
Yeah,
paying them for a service.
right.
It's not like they're giving you anything for free. So
Mhm.
it doesn't, like, Facebook's free. So I can understand them capitalizing on that and say, hey, because nothing's actually free, it's, so I can get that. But when you pay for something, it's like going to a lawyer, paying him, and then having him go and sell, like, did you do it? Yeah, I did it. Let me tell you how, because you can't. And then him go tell the prosecutor. It's not, he's working for you. So I don't understand how they could do that after you hired them to use your DNA for specific.
I mean, the only way I can imagine is that it was they had you sign some consent form, and if
Yeah.
you don't do it, you can't use their product.
Mhm.
But I'm sure in their little magic word spells written up from the attorneys that you signed away your rights to the information, and they cataloged it, and now it's been sent to China, where some people think that the Great Infection was started in a uh, biolab in China. Some people think Ukraine, different things. But if if now our biggest quote enemy has a catalog of how many Americans DNA, well, you could really create a bioweapon that would target those people.
Yeah, and I don't like to say this, but because I'm an anarchist, but we really should have had more regulation on that, and more regulation on everything. It's kind of like Joe Roats. The lawyers and the bean counters are the real evil people that have
Mhm.
done that. Um, like, most people don't know, because you could just say, just wait, don't sign that consent form. You can't live anymore without that. I work for Microsoft, and it constantly pops up their terms of service. It's like 80 pages long,
Yeah.
and there's stuff in there that you wouldn't believe. I mean, South Park, did the whole episode where it's like Apple came and took you and took you. It's like, well, you in the terms of service, you signed it. Um, and I was the only person that asked, what if they don't? What if they don't? Agree to the terms of service? And literally everything you own, it's no good. They shut it all down. Yet
Well, I didn't sign the new upgrade on the Chase whatever, and now I can't send anything for Zelle payments or whatever. They canceled my
can you imagine if your
payment.
computer just was a brick, your Xbox was a brick,
Mhm.
anything that has Windows or is connected to Microsoft, it gets shut down. Even though you paid for it, you own it, the operating system,
The operating system
how
on
you
it will
use it,
lock you
it's
out.
no good. Yeah, it's
But that's why people pay licenses, because if that is their technology, then hey, it's valuable to me to use that. But I don't think that me using it gives them permission to take any of my information or my private conversations and then monetize that. If I paid you a license, I should have some privacy.
but you don't pay for that license. You just agree to it. Hotmail, and that's free. You're not paying for it, but you click to the
I
terms of
agree
service.
to it.
But you brought up an interesting point. Everything's digital now.
No.
I've given away like all of my Blu-rays, all my DVDs.
Hush.
I don't have any anymore, but I have 4,000
Getting the wrong dog.
movies that they're all digital that I bought. So
Yes.
everything's digital, and you don't own anything digital. That whole you will own nothing and be happy. And my friend found this out. He he bought a bunch of he bought a new Xbox, and like some of the new Xboxes, they don't have a disc player.
Rebel, no.
You can only buy digital video games.
Oh God, this.
And he had a problem with he forgot his password, and he didn't have the email anymore that he used for that, so he couldn't get in. He couldn't change it. There's like a way to like get in. I tried to walk him through it. He failed that. So that's it. All the money he spent on all those games, everything's gone. But you can lose, and I know that
Go outside.
I've lost movies because the license runs out with the company you bought it from. You technically don't own anything that you buy digitally. You rent it. You're renting
So
the license.
remember when I found out that Home Depot and Lowe's and all that were starting to launch NFTs with their hardware, with like saws and equipment and whatever, and that was to prove your ownership of that. Well, they can also turn it off. So you could have a subscription to a physical item you buy, and at whatever time, when I think about all these cars now that are so high tech and all that, like they could turn all of that off too.
They do. But that's
If you don't make your payment, the car turns off.
Yeah. That's been a thing for a while.
Like that really happens?
Yeah, for probably a decade.
Oh, I didn't even have a clue.
Yeah, they don't have that's the thing. They don't have to like send the wrecker out. I remember when I was young, and like it's a friend of mine. He missed his car payments, so he was like, we'll always be looking for the repo guy, and he would park like 2 or 3 streets over and then walk home, and
Oh my God.
and he went to like Little Caesars or something, and went in, and he came out, and they were there. They were taking his truck. It was hilarious, but you can't do that. They just turn it off, and then there's a geolocator, and then the tow truck goes there and just takes the car.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, it's been ever since OnStar. So
okay, that's how they do it.
Yeah, way back then they're able to do it. The scary
And
thing,
that's the same way with Siri and all that. Like they remember when people found out that there were not only, it wasn't just a speaker, it was also, there were microphones in there, and they were like, why? And so they had to come up with this whole thing where, because you're going to be able to order your whatever you want from Amazon by just talking to your, hey Siri, order this and that, whatever. And they've been spying on people for so long that people are numb to it.
Yeah, they accept it. I saw this, there's a meme.
They not only accept it, they can't function in the world without it.
Yeah. I see this meme all the time. It's like, 1955 or whatever year it is. And it's like, I sure hope the government can't do this, or the government will try to listen to me. And then it goes present day. It's like, hey, government, listening to me. I need to order some more eggs. Everyone admits it. Everyone knows that it listens to you. But I was thinking about that this week, how that was like an impossible thing. Like nobody came in your home before. Nobody. The like till
Mm.
no one would come into your house. Anyone that came into your house was a local person that was from your community, electrician, plumber, whatever. Like once you got electricity, there was like the electric company. They didn't come in your house. Um, Even the phone company really wouldn't come into your house. So it didn't happen until cable. Cable
Oh,
is
okay.
when something was brought into your house and installed, and they were in your house. And this is like years and years ago. Um,
And there was a box
yeah,
with the cable.
and
They were probably listening then.
they were Alex Jones.
Oh my God.
This is like, I mean, this is years and years ago, like before he was even huge or talked about as crazy or anything. They bought like old cable boxes, just like they had like 30, and they opened them up, and out of the 30, like 12 of them had microphones, and he, they did it like live on air. Like we just bought these bulk old for parts,
Wow.
and they were from different companies, and a bunch of them had microphones in there, and they're like, why does the cable company need to be able to listen to you? And that's a bug. I mean, we don't call it that, but that's what it was. It was a bug.
Right. Back in the
And that
day.
was the beginning. That was the beginning. And that's what they said. They said, oh, because it was for future rollouts. Like you could be able to tell it to do something, or, they go find HBO, something like that. And people are saying, okay, that kind of makes sense. And now we're here, you know.
It's so crazy. And John Claude had a great point. He was doing, I think it was his show with Jay Widener and Meg, and he was talking about the Truman Show.
Mm-hmm.
And, if we were to have some kind of solar event, because they keep talking about these solar events. Apparently, another one launched yesterday or so. It's going to happen again this weekend. I don't know. We talk about it and then it's a nothing burger. So I don't know that we should all pay attention to it or not. And then I'm seeing that it's HARP doing it, not, I'm seeing other reports saying that it's HARP doing it. It's not really solar flares, that it's, by the government basically doing it. But it's interesting to me that if something like that, where we were to have a Carrington event kind of thing, and we did lose all electricity, they said that would be a mass casualty event. Like they talked about how many people would die within hours, within days, weeks, all of that, because people on devices needing medical, physical assistance with all that. But then they talked about there's another movie called Napoleon, and it talks about after the revolution, how these, I can't remember what it's called, but like the hard years or the difficult years or something like that, because the society was rebuilding itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we would go through, that period of rebuilding. But it's worse for us because at least in France, then they didn't have electricity. So they were already living that way.
Yeah.
They were comparing like that kind of thing. So, if you were to have a Carrington event or something to take out electricity, common conveniences, satellites, whatever, communication, then a lot of people just wouldn't survive because they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to grow food. They don't know how to collect water, like that guy in the movie you were saying on Mars or whatever.
People nowadays don't know how to drive a stick.
I know.
I mean, it's bad.
It's crazy.
There's people that never read a map. There's people that don't know how to write.
Or can't read cursive.
Yeah, they can't read cursive. They can't write cursive.
Yeah.
Most, like we were talking about, like the Declaration of Independence, or all these things are in cursive.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a show. I love the show. It's called Revolution, and it came out, I don't know, probably like 10, 12 years ago. But that's when it's post-apocalyptic, and all that happens is the everything electric dies, didn't work. And it's like literal, it's the same as a like a nuclear bomb. No one, so many people died. But then the people, and Carlson talked about this a lot, seeing Americans, Westerners, human beings, like de-evolve into horrible, evil creatures when Katrina hit in Louisiana. It was like so fast.
I remember that.
There was no
Remember
power.
they were like, I mean, there were like accusations of RAPE and all kinds of things that you can't
Murder.
say.
Yeah, it was like
terrible,
insane. Once they lost, the structure, power, all that, it took no time to go into, and that's a whole different. We could talk about that because that was so bad. The National Guard went around and took everyone's guns.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they took everyone's guns and they stole them, but they destroyed them. And I mean, there's so many constitutional violations that happened then, and
because of an emergency.
Yeah,
under the emergency thing, even though that's not supposed to.
Little window into what could happen, but you can't argue it did happen. You can go down that rabbit hole. Just watch some of the videos and like people being interviewed and stuff that happened. And I mean, it's.
Well, I remember people went to that big dome to get help and then found out that it was like a trap.
Yeah,
and then there were people. There was like gangs forming in there, and people were harming people and children.
Like Thunderdome, they just.
Yeah.
It was like, come on in. They locked them in there, and then there was no food. There was nothing in there. Like you said, it was literally like a Mel Gibson, like a Mad Max.
Hunter. What is that game that the kids watch? The Hunter Games.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Yeah, something like that. Oh, terrible. Well, let's jump over on your channel and chat it up. I'm curious what all is catching your eye. Also, I don't know if you guys saw the unveiling of Prince Charles' self-portrait, and it looks like he's like burning in hell. That was positive, I guess. So we'll see what ends up happening with all that. But
all right.
Also, there are some predictions for the earthquakes and stuff, or volcano. There's volcano stuff, news coming out of like possibility of it out of Yellowstone. And it lines up with one of my friend's astrology stuff. And it was in Fortnite. Cannon and I did a video before he got sick. And he was talking about the Fortnite update, and it talks about a sandstorm and ashes and volcano kind of stuff. So, and earthquakes and whatever. So I don't know. Maybe something's coming. I always think something's coming. And then we wake up and it's Groundhog Day. Uh-oh. Did you freeze really? No, I see.
I typed something in Twitter about the Met and like hardcore porn came up on Twitter.
For the Met Gala?
I didn't put Gala, I just put MET and then
something terrible showed up.
Wow. It was
maybe it means something else.
I guess I need to add Gala to Met.
Okay. Well, we'll see you guys over on Sean's channel and see what he's talking about. Thanks for joining us. Give us a like and share the video.